No, 12th time. I'm just reading it in this weird voice I signed him from the email.
Did you read the fan? You've read fan mail from us, right?
Yeah. I read every email that gets sent to us.
Should we? Have we plugged that somewhere? Like, you told what email they could email us?
Oh yeah, no. Which we should.
Just in case.
Yeah, I mean the people that listen to the podcast, there's a little thing, a little link that you can click on in our description on the YouTube thing and things like that. But it is the Niv-en Ni-ven podcast at gmail.com.
What is that? Niven Nivenpodcast at
Google or gmail.com.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I think I can remember that. I'll send you an email. Can you read them on the show?
Yeah, we can read them on the show. We'll do that. We'll do that for next week's episode. We'll read
spoilers for next week's episode. It's going to be badass.
Yeah, we're going to hear from you, the listeners, next week. And you'll get to see what I mean. I'll even read the one I was talking about, which is fantastic, because he sounds like he hates our show, but he likes our show. It's like that. He's like that self-hating listener.
Maybe it's loves it so much he just wants it to improve.
Maybe that's what
by
it is.
Pointing out the flaws.
Maybe. And it's like, there's a million podcasts out there. It's like, he's stumbled upon this one. He's like, this is what I'm listening to now.
This is what I'm listening to now.
This is the podcast. Criticize. Back to enhanced old products.
Still going back. Okay.
That is a long list here. Boat with extra float.
So I kind of like that one.
So is that like an extra buoyant boat? Or is it like a guy sitting on a boat eating a root beer float?
You ever seen a pontoon?
I've seen a bunch. Studio Cat.
They have those long tubes filled with air. What if you just got more of those? That's more float.
That would be more float. So, do you care if I take a second to talk about Studio Cat?
You can talk about Studio Cat all you want.
So, there is this cat that hangs out outside the studio. And we see it all the time. And they're like, yeah, it's a cat. He sort of just comes around. And we just let him come into the studio with us. And then when we leave, he leaves with us. He's a stray cat.
He's actually nice. He'll lock up for us if we want to leave.
We just call him Studio Cat because we don't know if he already has a name or anything. And he just we let him come in and out of the studio here. And he is poking his way in. Hello.
Let's see what this cat's up to.
But I was just like, I know that meow. It's Studio Cat. I don't know. You guys may have. I know at least one of our listeners has actually heard Studio Cat in the background before, because there's a mention of, is there a cat in the background of your guys' podcast? And it's like, yeah, he's Studio Cat, but they don't know who Studio Cat is.
Well, we will maybe see if we can get Studio Cat on the podcast at some point.
That would be cool.
Interview.
Because I feel like he's here about 50% of the time, I'd say, and he's fun.
He's got a lot to say. Not a lot of great ideas. He's kind of dumb. But occasionally he will go somewhere that I like.
So we have a boat with extra float, which is not a guy on a boat eating a root beer float.
It is not a guy on a boat. It's just extra float for your boat.
It's just extra buoyancy.
It's not floats on your boat. It's extra float for your boat.
I like this next one. Pre-chewed canned steak.
Canned steak. Okay.
Is canned steak a thing?
So I'm thinking where my mind was going with this is old people have a hard time chewing steak. So if you were to chew it for them, and then they also can't cook, so if you were to can it and chew it, that's like the perfect food for old people.
The perfect food for old people. It's just a can filled with already chewed steak. Oh, Studio Cat!
Just sprinting on by.
Hey, buddy. Welcome to the podcast. You are very vocal today. You want to get up in Adam's chair?
Yeah, he's not here anymore. You can sit in his chair. I'm going to see if I can put it back.
Studio Cat!
Alright, huge interruption in the podcast.
That's okay, because Studio Cat is cool. I like Studio Cat.
Still meowing.
Still meowing. I don't know what's up with Studio Cat.
Across the entire lot, still meowing. I just dragged her 100 feet away.
Just think, if we get more listeners, if we can get 10,000 listeners, we might be able to actually monetize and make enough money to get Studio Cat a trip to the vet to see why it's meowing.
I'm pretty sure it's meowing because nobody feeds Studio Cat.
Should we feed? I mean, like, what do you? I don't know what you do with stray cats. Do you feed them? Do you not feed them?
I think you're allowed to feed them. This is a loud cat.
There's so many there's so many stray cats in the city and we know this is the same one. This cat has a very distinct look.
Very distinct meow, if you can tell.
Yeah, we have had the same studio cat since the beginning. This cat just sticks around the studio, comes in, and leaves. Which I think is awesome.
So I want to get into my next topic. It's actually thinking there's a lot of action movies, and they typically involve the same action. You know, it's always like, oh, it's kung fu, it's martial arts, it's gunfighting. What if we went a different route and we brought in domestic violence, and it was just all a movie about a dude just pounding his wife like an hour? You never see that.
They called Irish home videos.
So that was my whole idea.
Domestic
violence videos.
Why would anybody want to watch that?
People still buy wife beaters. They're called wife beaters. I'm pretty sure it's
a whole genre of movies.
That's just a community out there.
Now, is it always man beating woman? Can it be, because like we're progressive at this podcast, can it be woman beating woman or woman beating man? Equal opportunity? I
think it can go both ways, yeah.
Now, we should have the genre, does it have to be like actual violence? Or can they be like a woman gaslighting a man and just...
Oh, it can go whatever you want.
Just emotional, like...
As long as it's two people bullying in the same household getting fumed and frustrated.
Just bullying each other.
Just bullying each other.
Stabbing them with a fork.
Now, the only thing I don't want to see is I want these movies to be more prevalent, because I've never seen them. There's a whole audience we're not catering to. The wife beaters and the husband beaters, 2022. I do not want to see kid-on-kid violence in these household movies.
I mean, we could
No animal on animals.
If you think about it, we could be bringing an end to domestic violence. People are like, hey, you promote domestic violence. But I've never been in a kung fu showdown.
That's true. In fact...
Because I get that outlet by watching the kung fu movies. I don't feel the need to Bruce Lee it up.
When I see someone get punched through the chest, that makes me not want to fight someone. When I see someone get shot, I don't want to get shot.
Yeah, I watch a lot of violent movies, and I've never shot or punched
So if I see a man beating the crap out of his wife because she burnt the green beans, I think that's going to make all our female audience cook better green beans.
Jesus Christ. Views expressed by Tyler do not Sorry, women.
I mean, it works the other way around. When the man doesn't do the dishes, women can smash a plate over the dude's head.
It's like WWF style or WWE style.
Get into the ring, pull the chairs out, and freaking smash him.
Hit him with a steel plate.
A steel plate?
It's like, what?
He's tying him up with the tablecloth. Oh, no.
They're putting him through the table.
His hand's in the blender. She's going wild.
God. Hands in the blender. I have to say, though, this enhanced old products list, the one thing I'm looking at is werewolf repellent garlic edition. And it makes me wonder, werewolf repellent garlic edition. What was the old product? Is werewolf repellent already a thing?
Those are enhanced so they're pre-existing products.
What's the pre-existing product here? The repellent or the garlic?
I think it's the repellent. Have you seen werewolves?
So
then it's a successful product, right?
Studio Cat's back.
Alright, I think we're going to cut it there, and we're going to find Adam, and we're going to deal with Studio Cat. Hold on.